What's up, everyone? Happy New Year! Andy Kruger here, your favorite dog trainer, maybe. Today's topic, training with purpose. This is something I find to be extremely important that a very small percentage of dog owners actually understand. Let me explain. You need to train your dog with purpose. Everyone's going, duh, Andy, tell me something I don't know. No. This is what I mean by training your dog with purpose. Before your dog even exits their crate, they're put away. You have come up with a training plan for the 10, 15, 20-minute session you're about to have with your dog. Maybe you want to work on engagement. Maybe you want to work on heel. Maybe you want to work on tug, coming when called, etc. You have a well-devised, well-thought-out game plan of everything you're going to do with the dog and everything that you're going to implement if the dog happens to do X, Y, or Z. You have contingency plans for anything your dog might present. You're 3 steps ahead of your dog at all times. You have a well thought out game plan of exactly what you're going to do, and you've already predicted anything your dog might do that's not ideal along the way. You have all that planned out. Then you bring out the dog, you execute your training session start to finish, and that whole time, 10, 15, 20 minutes, the whole session, you are downloading data from your dog. Your dog is giving you information the second the crate door opens to the second the crate door closes, beginning and end of the training session. Your dog's giving you information. All of this information should dictate what your next training session looks like. The dog's going to tell you. Andy, what do? I tried to train this and my dog did that. Your dog's telling you what you need to do. You just might not know how to interpret it. Training with a purpose. Let me tell you what training with a purpose is not. I'm going to work on heel today. I'm going to take him out for a walk. I'm going to work on heel. Please elaborate. Well, I'm going to get him to walk next to me. And if he doesn't walk next to me, I'm going to jerk the leash a little bit. That's not training with a purpose. That's not a game plan. I'm going to work on my dog coming when called. Okay, come on, Fluffy. Fluffy, come. Shoot, he's distracted. Fluffy, come on, Fluffy, come. Let's go. Okay, good boy. No, Fluffy. Fluffy, come. That's not training, and it's certainly not training with a purpose. You need to have every possible angle thought of. Again, 3 steps ahead of the dog, 10 steps ahead of the dog, a well thought out plan. Training with purpose. It's like saying, I'm going to redo my kitchen. Okay, big project. What's your plan? Well, I'm going to demo everything, and then I'm going to build it back up, put all the finishes in that I want. Gotcha. So what's the plan for, let's say, the first day? I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to put it back together. You open up a wall. Bunch of electrical and plumbing in there you didn't expect. Didn't see that coming. Well, shoot. If you're going to demo the kitchen, you need to be prepared for What if I find a bunch of plumbing and electrical in this wall I want to move? What if this is a load-bearing wall? What if I open the wall and I find this? What if? But if you go in, nah, I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to make it beautiful. You're not doing it with a purpose. You're just winging it. And that's never going to be good for dog training. You need to have exact goals put out, and then the information your dog gives you is going to affect that next training session. Let's go back to the heel example. Johnny dog trainer is out there going, I'm going to work on heel today. I'm going to have him walk next to me, and I'm going to jerk the leash if he doesn't. I'm going to work on heel. No, training with purpose is going to be you saying this. Today I'm going to work on heel. I know my dog's hungry. They haven't eaten it all today. They ate pretty light yesterday. My dog's going to be going nuts for the food that I have. I'm going to put that in my apron. I'm going to have all that portioned out and loaded up before the dog even exits the crate. I'm going to go with a 3-foot leash because from what I'm working on, I'm not going to need to be more than 3 feet away from my dog at any point. So that's going to be the best piece of equipment for me to use. I'm going to use a flat collar that's nice and high and tight, and I'm going to make sure the leash is connected right behind the dog's head. When the dog comes out of the crate, I already know the dog. It's the first thing we do today. He's hungry. I know the dog's going to be crazy. I know he's going to be a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to use the leash. I'm going to block him. I'm going to wait him out. I'm going to pay him a few times for being calm. Then I'm going to lure him into a heel. Then I know crossing the threshold of the front door, my dog's going to be jacked. This is where he gets to go outside and see everything that's going on. So I'm going to spend about 5 minutes at that threshold, and I'm literally just going to pay engagement that whole time. Now, when we go out for that walk, I'm definitely not going around the block because Mary Sue down the street has 4 Chihuahuas behind a chain link fence that just go absolutely ballistic anytime they see anything. That's going to be too much of a distraction for this particular training session. It's going to be way too much. I'm not even going there. I'm going to go up and down the driveway for 10 minutes. That's my plan. And I know what my dog is going to do. My dog's going to attempt to forage. My dog's going to attempt to put their nose down, go behind me, look away. I know all those things he's going to do. So I'm going to have the food out in my hand in the dog's face to keep their engagement. I'm going to make only left turns, really tight, 180, 360 degrees, all the way up and down that driveway. I'm going to constantly be backing up, paying the dog, stopping, paying the dog, turning, paying the dog. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to load all this value into myself, my movements. I'm going to be super unpredictable. Sometimes, though, the neighbor comes out their front door and makes a bunch of kissy noises at my dog, and it distracts them. And I know they're going to do that. So as soon as my dog looks over at the neighbors, I'm going to move the opposite way fast. I'm going to prompt with the leash. Pop, 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 pop. My dog's going to turn, and I'm going to give him a jackpot. And I'm going to try to condition my dog to when they hear something over there, they dart over to me because that's what cues the jackpot that they get. Okay, so that's my plan for the neighbor. If that doesn't work, this is what I plan on doing. I'm going to come. I can't get my dog away. He's too distracted. I'm going to come up. I'm going to literally put the food in his face, and I'm going to turn his face away using a lure. And then I'm going to give him this little jackpot system that I established, both hands feeding one after another, that I know that the dog loves. If that doesn't work, my dog probably doesn't have the engagement to even be put in that situation. So what the dog does when that happens is going to determine how we proceed forward in the next training session. I'll zip it now, but you guys get the point. That's training with a purpose. That's thinking everything out with skill behind it. If you say, I'm going to work on heel, I'll just go up and down the driveway. He gets distracted. I'll try to use food. It's not a good plan. It's not training with purpose. You need to literally be in command of that training session, regardless of the skill set that the dog has. That's what I consider training with a purpose. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. We'll get into the live chat now. Bunch of questions coming in. I'll answer those the best that I can. Of course, if you haven't, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. New videos every Monday. I'm going to try to get back to my weekly lives, my Q&As for you guys. And of course, patreon.com/Andy Kruger. If you want to pay your boy a couple bucks and get all the unseen training footage that I don't post anywhere else, Patreon is where you do that. And that's how you support me. And real quick, by the way, guys, you're not going to see me on this channel have a bunch of sponsors that I'm pushing. I don't do that kind of thing. You wouldn't believe the number of emails I get. Hey, these dog treats. Hey, this dog bowl. Hey, this retractable leash. We'll give you a free one if you put one in a video. I'm not going to try to sell you guys a bunch of stuff that people are just going to send me for free to give it. I'm only going to tell you about things that I really believe in, and I really don't have a financial stake in any of it. So I want you guys to know that. My Patreon is the way to support me. Subscribing to the channel, watching the free videos, that's another way to support me. But all the sponsor stuff, you wouldn't believe all these emails. Hey, Andy, we got these dog treats. We'll send you some free ones if you tell your whole audience about them. So let me get this straight. I get a random bag of dog treats that's technically worth 4 cents, and you want me to tell 40,000 people that I've spent years getting their attention and their viewership and their trust. You want me to pimp out some treats? I don't think so. I'm not about it. I'll tell you what I use and I'll tell you where to get it, all for free. So my point is, if you actually want to support me, you hit the subscribe. Maybe you go to the Patreon. I really appreciate you guys. We're almost at 40,000. And this year, we gonna be booming, baby. Okay, enough. Let's get into some of the questions here. Happy New Year. We live. Late, but Happy New Year. Happy New Year. If you guys are watching this later, you can guess. First live since the new year, 2023. Let's go. Come on, Andy, been a long time. Let's go. Are you answering questions on here? I sure am. Thanks for taking, okay, little broken English there, can't get that one. Not doing this as well as I could. I'm usually winging it. Guys, the thing with winging it, if you want to pull out your dog and just maybe play around and just wing a couple things 5% of the time, that's totally fine. There's definitely some merit to once in a while just pulling your dog out, playing a little tug, out, down, tug, out, heel, tug, run them through a couple things. No exact game plan. It doesn't have to be crazy strict 100% of the time, but like 90% of the time. Only the best trainers in the world can kind of wing it, but it's not really winging it because they can just go through that whole planning process in real time. That's what you guys need to strive for. Is at first you're going to start out, you're going to have to sit down, really think all of it out. But once you get to a certain point with your skill set, you can negotiate all that in real time in front of the dog. Things to think about. This is awesome. I've been coming across this problem with Bear. I jump in thinking I'm just going to train with no real game plan. Almost every time the session doesn't produce much. Gotta think it through. You gotta know what you're doing. Let me give you guys a little secret. as being involved in dog sport clubs for just about 15 years now. If you're going to train with a sport dog trainer, if you're going to compete in a sport, if you're part of a club, let me tell you how to immediately turn off the training director and anyone involved in the club. Is you show up with the dog, okay, Johnny, it's your turn. Go get your dog. What are you going to do today? What should I do? I don't know. You tell me. What? Yeah, no doubt the club is there to help you and guide you and help you. But if you show up like, I don't know, I don't have a plan for today, they're going to be like, well, you're wasting our time, aren't you? You didn't even think about what you want to do. Take a hike. Got to have a plan. We live. I need to plan my sessions better. Yes, you do. My first time training a dog up properly, though. She's learned a lot the first week, but now seems to slow down. Or I have a plan and completely ditch it halfway, LOL. This is definitely maturing and training. Look, so this is part of having a backup plan upon a backup upon a backup. Is you might have this idea in your head of, hey, this is what I'm going to do and this is the way it's going to go. And shortly into your session, you go, this ain't happening. I was wrong. I overestimated. I underestimated. I need to abandon that train of thought and that plan for this session. You can do that. But part of thinking it through is knowing that that's an option. You need to be prepared to maybe totally ditch an idea that you had, go into a different idea, and then revisit it after training. One time years ago, I had a board and train a Wheaten Terrier I was training. The owner said that they were terrified of the vacuum. They wanted to improve the dog's stability around the vacuum. I had a whole game plan of a whole training session I was going to do with the vacuum. It involved, one piece of food. The vacuum's 15 feet away, and then I'm going to and I had this whole session well planned out. Probably took me a half hour to plan. A few minutes into the training session, I go, we're abandoning this whole thing. We're abandoning the whole thing. The dog is a billion times worse with the vacuum than I could have anticipated. Fear like I've never seen a dog experience ever before. That game plan was planned on a dog that was fearful, but not a dog that was paralyzed, petrified. I got to abandon that. I got to come up with a whole new game plan. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's even nothing wrong with just shutting down the session. 2 minutes in, you plan for a 20-minute session. 2 minutes in, you go, I don't like where this is going. What I have planned isn't really suiting this. Let me escort the dog back to the crate. Let me put them away. And let me sit back down and revisit this with this new information my dog's given you. I told you guys at the beginning, your dog is giving you information. It's up to you to understand it and to take it. So that Wheaten Terrier that was terrified of the vacuum, a few minutes in, he told me very clearly, I cannot function physically or mentally when a vacuum's in the room. It's impossible for me to do at this juncture. So instead of going, yeah, here comes a vacuum, deal with it. You take that information and it shapes how the next session goes. Pro tip. Hello from Brazil, 1-year-old Mally. Great results, thank you. Love that. Sounds a lot less stressful for myself and the dogs. Tommy, you nailed it. Having that game plan laid out, it eliminates the stress. At least for me, it eliminates the stress because you're never caught off guard. You're never frustrated. And you were prepared for it. I guess that's the same as not being caught off guard, but you know what causes frustration is when your expectations are violated. I think that's the technical definition. So, recall. Your dog's out in the yard, you're going to call them, they're going to come to you, you're going to pet them, and then you're going to walk inside. That's your expectation. Come, Fluffy. The dog blows you off, runs the opposite way. Well, that just violated what you had expected. That wasn't it at all. What the heck? So you get frustrated. Dogs can smell frustration. They can smell stress, and they perceive that as a weakness. Because if the leader is frustrated and stressed, and it's just oozing off of them, that's not a calm, confident presence that a dog wants to follow. Two brothers, Belgian Malinois, 5 months old, play too rough. Liked your video about fetch and structured play to avoid injury. Now, if it's me, if I were to ever own 2 litter mates, which I never would, if I owned 2 litter mates 5 months old, those dogs would never play. They would never interact. It's the most unpopular thing I could ever put out into the pet world, saying that. People get offended by that. I would never do it because it's going to cause, well, I don't want to be insensitive, but it can cause a mess for sure. Just my opinion. Hey, Andy, you always give valuable advice. Thank you. I always come across this problem. Now I'm trying to plan my sessions better, and prior to training, I also try to be a little bit innovative, not always doing the same routine. Well, you definitely don't want to always do the same routine, because then you're not actually taking information from the dog during that training session. You go, okay, I'm going to work on heel, sit, down, stay. Heel, good boy. Sit, good boy. Down, stay, good. Heel, sit, down, stay. Come, good. Place, good. Free, good. Training session over. Woo! Booyah, we did it. What information did you take from the dog in that training session? It's one thing if you just want to like demo off your dog to like your family and friends. Maybe you're a dog trainer and your own personal dog is your demo dog. And you go, hey, new client, you want to see how good of a trainer I am? Check out my dog. Heel, sit, spin, down, roll over, place, under arrest, speak, come, fetch, boom, boom, boom. And you run them through their paces. One thing after, and they go, wow, I'm dazzled with that demonstration. That was awesome. That's one thing. But if you're actually trying to train your dog and not just show off what they know, you need to constantly be taking information from the dog that will then influence your next training session. Hey, Andy, do you teach your dogs right side heel or only left side? I teach both, but I definitely use the left side more, but I do use both. How would you deal with a 4-month-old Dutchie biting? Oh. If I had a 4-month-old Dutch Shepherd that wasn't biting, I would be very concerned about the genetics of the dog. A Dutch Shepherd or a Belgian Malinois, you are purchasing a biting machine. That's what you've purchased, is a biting machine. So how would I deal with the biting? Well, I wouldn't want a Dutch Shepherd if I didn't want a dog that bit. That's what they do. They're supposed to do that. So If my 4-month-old Dutch Shepherd was bitey, I'd be like, sweet, as advertised. If you don't want a dog that's going to be bitey, do not get a Dutch Shepherd, a Belgian Malinois. Maybe a Lab or a Golden Retriever could be better for you. Maybe a Beagle, you know, maybe something like that. Do you have a guidance list on what training to do based on age on your Patreon? Like my puppy at age 2. By the way, you're the man, and my Mal just passed her canine good citizen test. That's great to hear, Cynthia. I do not have a guidance list on what training to do based on age because I don't believe in that concept. You cannot generalize what to do with the dog based on age. It's so specific to the dog, the lifestyle of the dog, and everything that you've done with the dog, every interaction that they've had leading up to that point. So I can't possibly give you a sweeping generalization like that. This is what my Patreon is. My Patreon is I turn on a camera, I film a training session with any dog, start to finish, unedited. I post the video. I'll turn on the camera again. I will pull up that training session. I will watch the session and break it down and react to it in real time, and then I'll post that video. So my Patreon is basically like you are virtually coming and hanging out with me. You're shadowing me as I train various dogs to do various things. That's my Patreon, and that's what I believe that the future of dog training videos will be. Because the generalization is, look, for a 6-month-old puppy, this is exactly what you need to do. Without personally knowing the puppy and the owner and the dog's lifestyle, I would not give that advice because it won't be effective. That's just my opinion. I went to a protection class with my dog. Won't play. He plays at home, but not out in the class. How do I work on this? Yeah, Mitch, I actually have a board and train that I have the same thing going on with. The dog does not want to play here. Very willing to work for food, making huge strides in obedience, but absolutely is not willing to play. Here's the thing about play. This is why it's so important, is because you can't force a dog to play. You can't force it. You can force a dog to sit. You can pull up on the leash and push down on their butt. You can make a dog lay down. You can pull on the leash, push them down, lay down. You can make them do it. Can't make a dog play. You have to inspire them. You have to motivate them. That tells me the dog's nervous. Dog will play at home. Dog won't play somewhere else. Dog's very nervous there. So what you can do is either keep putting the dog in the situation often enough to where that becomes part of their comfort zone, or accept the fact that you don't have the kind of dog that's versatile enough to go different places and behave the same way. I mean, it's one of the biggest things that I need to have in my dog is you need to be the same everywhere. That's what shows true character. Look, for my working dog, my little pets that shuffle around the house, I don't really care if they're different. It's a pet, whatever. But with my working dog, you need to be the same everywhere because that shows you're a stable, confident dog in yourself. Every dog is comfortable around mommy and daddy in their own house, but drop them off at a board and train, take them to a facility. If they're nowhere like they are at home, you know, that shows, I don't want to say a flaw, but a big weakness in the dog. Look, all you can do is just keep putting the dog in that situation, keep trying to make it as fun as possible for the dog. If they don't want to play, if they don't want to bite, if they don't want to chase a ball, you have to get them chasing food. You have to get them engaged with food, and you go there every single week, and you hope that after a month or two, the dog comes around. If after a month or two the dog doesn't come around, you could keep doing it, but pretty much that dog's telling you, like, I don't want to do this. And we have to honor what the dog wants too. So if the dog's going, look, you've tried, you've done everything nicely, I just straight up don't want to be here and do this, you have to accept that the dog's not going to do it. I know we want the dog to do it, but the dog's not going to do it. So all I can say about that is keep trying, but after a couple months, if it ain't happening, me personally, I wouldn't keep trying to make the dog do it. Hey, Andy from Northern Ireland, getting my Malinois puppy on Tuesday. Should I start building engagement right from the get-go? He'll be 10 weeks. Absolutely. Training starts the first moment you come into contact with that dog. 1000%. When I picked up my Malinois puppy from the airport, I opened up the crate. He came out of the crate. Guess what? I had my training vest on. It was stocked full of food. After he comes and jumps up on me, he starts furiously sniffing around my vest like, whoa, there's food close. I whip out some food. He starts crushing it out of my hand. I go, ding, ding, ding. Exactly what I wanted. So the engagement training started from day one, and 2 years later, it has not stopped. Dog gets overstimulated on walks in certain areas, starts barking and whining. I turn around and use the home command. Is this the best approach? Engagement's hard when he's in this state. That is not the best approach, Benjamin. I would abandon that game plan. Let me put it this way, Ben. Is that the best approach? I think you can tell me. You can tell me if that's the best approach. Has that worked? No, so it's not. You know it's not. You know that's not the best approach. And no fault for trying something you think might work. But if that was the best approach, an hour later, a day later, when you took the dog out in the same spot, he'd give you a great engagement. But the dog's acting, I'm guessing, the exact same the next day, the exact same the next week, the next hour, the next month, the exact same. So if you employ what you think to be a training tactic, and the next day, week, month, your dog is exactly the same, you know it's not good. You know it's not working. You know it's not going to work. Good stuff works like right away. Doesn't totally fix things, but you see an improvement with the trained eye. You see an improvement like real quick. If I had to tackle that exact situation, which honestly I wouldn't, I would radically change the dog's entire lifestyle. I would change the way I'm doing everything with the dog, and that problem may just melt away on its own. But if I had to address that situation, I would walk my butt to that spot that gets him overstimulated, and I'd plan to be there for a half hour. I may even bring a chair. I'd plan to be there for a half hour, and my dog would be fasted 12 hours leading up to that. And I'd bring a bowl of high-value food, and I'd sit there, and I'd stand there, and I'd offer the dog food, and he'd refuse it. Okay, I'm going to be here a half hour. And I'd there, and I'd offer him the food. And And this would be the only way the dog ever has access to food, period. 1 week. The only time that they have to eat is right here in this situation only. And when we're not doing that, we're crated. Literally. My dog's eyes go red when he's tired. Is that normal? I don't think that's normal. No, I've never seen that. Might be a problem. Appreciate the advice. I do limit their play. Don't want injuries. Yeah, I mean, the play thing, you know. Should I work obedience and bite work and drive control with my dog in the same session? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes your sessions are one single isolated skill, that's it. Sometimes your session can be made up of multiple parts. I've had trouble with my dog biting my hand during luring. I haven't corrected because I don't want to make him nervous or have any doubts about taking the food. How would you go about getting him to take it? I would only give one piece of kibble at a time. That makes it so easy. You take one piece of kibble. What do I have here that looks like a piece of kibble? Nothing. Perfect. Take one piece of kibble. You put it right in the palm of your hand like this. You deliver it to the dog like this. Dog's mouth goes in like this. It's impossible to bite a finger. He takes that piece of kibble and your dog knows he only has one. So when I grab that piece, I'm done eating. That's how you fix that. Can you explain the taking information from your dog at every session in more detail, like an example of it? Giving an example of taking information from the dog. Well, first thing that comes to my head, well, let me not use my dog as an, let me think of a pet dog. Let me think of something really, really, really simple. One of my newest Patreon videos. This might be too simple, but one of my most recent Patreon videos, it's about a 10 or 15 minute training session with a new board and train. First session I've ever done with the dog, so I'm going to be taking in a lot of information here. Of course, I always start with food. I always start with luring the dog. An example, make sure I get it, an example of it. So I want information. When I tackle this training session, there's a number of things I want to know. How does the dog work for food? That's what I want to know. I want to know, does this dog work for food? But there's a bunch of bullet points underneath that. There's more detail than just, yeah, takes the food. I want to know, does the dog work for food? And I want to collect that information. Does the dog follow a lure consistently? Does the dog follow the lure when they're not actually getting at the food? Does the dog follow the lure when their nose is not touching my hand? Does the dog follow the lure if I prompt them into a sit down or stand position? This is all information I want the dog to tell me. If dogs could talk like people, I could just ask them. But this is how I ask them. So I go through the session. Does the dog work for food? Yes. Does the dog follow the lure? Yes. Follow the lure when not eating it? Yes. When not touching it? Yes. When prompted into a sitting down? Yes. When prompted into a stand? No. Never seen that. Bink, dog doesn't know stand. Note to self, work on luring the dog into a stand. That's one piece of information I took from it. I had a tug in my back pocket, and halfway through the session, I put the food away, and I pulled the tug out, and I started enticing the dog. Dog wouldn't touch the tug, wouldn't even entertain the possibility of going after it. That's information I wanted to know. Before the training session, I wanted to know, will this dog engage in tug? Will the dog go from working for food to playing with a toy? Will the dog go back from toy play to the food? These are all things that I wanted to know. And when I whipped out that tug and I tried for a minute, it told me this dog won't play with the tug. They won't go from eating food to playing with the tug. And I don't even need to address if they'll go from playing back to eating, because obviously that one's off the table. So this is all information that I collected from the dog. How does that influence my next session? Well, the dog's like 2 years old. The owner's done a bunch of their, do-it-yourself training with the dog at home. So it's not the dog's very first time. So after that first session, I go, luring is very nice. Luring, the dog doesn't even need to be touching my hand. I can lure them around and manipulate them in different ways. Perfect. So that information on my next training session, I don't need to do 20 minutes of luring. I feel the luring is strong. I'm going to use the luring rather than working on the luring. Not to get too long-winded, but that's exactly what I mean by taking information from the dog. And that's a few examples of it. Happy New Year! Hey Andy, love your online videos. I have a 6-month-old working line German Shepherd, and we usually start off on the wrong foot because he gives me a hard time when putting a prong collar on him. He throws himself on the floor, which makes it difficult to put it on him. I eventually get the collar on him, and then he starts biting the leash. Once I get him to heel, it's smooth from then on. Any advice on how to get him to be comfortable wearing a prong collar? Well, obviously there's a lot I could say about that. Let's keep it simple. Here's what you do. Take the prong, ditch it. Ditch it. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Not calling you crazy. Ditch the prong. You know why you're going to ditch the prong? Because you already know how the dog's going to be with the prong. So why make it worse? The dog's already told. This is what the dog told you. Dog told you, I don't want that thing on. That's what the dog told you. And you made him put it on, which made it even worse. That made it worse. I'm not saying to cater to everything your dog wants and tiptoe around him and never make him do stuff. But if sometimes tells you I don't want to experience this and you make them experience that, it could make it worse and worse as time goes on. So here's what you do. Take the prong, put it on a shelf. Don't even worry about it for a while. You're going to take a flat collar. Use your imagination. This is a flat collar. You have it buckled, so it's a little loop. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to open the dog's crate, and I'm hoping your dog knows how to stay in the crate when you open the door. If not, teach that first. Here's your collar. In this hand, we're ready to dispense the dog's food, which they're very hungry for. So I open the crate door, and here's the loop. And here's the food. The dog tries to go around the collar to get the food. I don't think so. This will test your stay in the crate too. Food right here. Dog goes through and eats the food. At the good boy. Let him eat the food. Reload. Head goes through, eats the food. Good boy. You see where I'm going. Now, you've done that 3 days in a row. Your dog's very motivated. Now you open up that crate door. You go like this. He goes like that. Right off the bat. Now take it out of the crate. Now put him in a sit. Put him on a climb. Take the collar, go like this. You're not putting it on him. He has to make the decision to put his head in. If not, we don't move on. Food. Yeah! If your dog is actually hungry, they'll go through that. Repeat 500 times. You should absolutely be able to then take out your prong, put a bunch of extra links in it. So it's huge. This is your prong collar. Hold it up like this. Food right here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Good boy. That end result that you're looking for is a couple months away of daily work just like that. That's the proper way to get the dog motivated to put their head through the collar. And really, that's how collars should be introduced. You know what? Last year on YouTube for free, I put out a prong collar video. How to introduce a prong. Maybe you should watch that. Andy, I actually didn't type in the full message earlier with my 4-month-old Dutchie biting. At times he's spitting the tug out and turning on my hands and biting. My third Dutchie, but never dealt with this. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, what's there to say to that? I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I'd have no idea why your dog is doing that. I don't have a magic trick to make it stop. I mean, I don't know. I mean, training a Dutch Shepherd puppy, it's hard. I don't know. I really don't have a good answer for you. The dog would obviously rather bite you than the toy. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you keep your dog on a consistent feeding schedule? I'm always feeding at 9 and 8 and 7. Thanks. Not really. The feeding schedule with me is very loose. Sometimes this time, sometime that time. No, I wouldn't say my feeding schedule is very consistent, no. If you were starting your business over today, what steps would you take? How do you access new dogs and new clients? Good question, Rodney. And this is advice to any person that wants to be a dog trainer, considering a dog trainer, but this is my best piece of advice that I can give you. First of all, if I was starting again today, I wouldn't change anything that I did because I believe I did it the right way. How do you access new dogs and clients? This is how you access new dogs and clients. You don't worry about accessing new dogs and clients for 1 minute. You don't worry about that at all. The only thing you concern yourself with is mastering the craft of dog training. Price, money, an exchange, that's not even on the horizon. That's not even a factor. You need to be absolutely obsessed with becoming the best dog trainer you can possibly be. You need to be obsessed with being as humble as anyone could possibly be about anything. If you're truly obsessed with the actual craft of training dogs, housing dogs, interacting with dogs, maintaining dogs, if you're obsessed with that real craft, guess what? The clients and dogs will follow. There's nothing you need to do except be very good at what you do. I see this so much, guys, you wouldn't possibly believe it. People go, wow, dog trainers make a lot of money. I want to become a dog trainer. I'm not saying this is you, Rodney. I'm just saying, oh man, I want to make money. And you don't have my support. It's the absolute worst reason you could get into dog training. One time I was out and about, and there's a dog training business in town. I think it's kind of like a franchise, but there's a dog training business in town that just kind of has a bunch of trainers working for them. They just kind of turn and burn boarding trains like crazy. Sure, they make a lot of money, but I had Jasper out and about. It was actually right after we got our Ring 3, and I have Jasper out and about, and this guy walks up to me. He's like, oh, you got a Belgian Malinois, huh? And the dog's obviously trained. I'm like, yep. He goes, you know, I'm a dog trainer with so-and-so. And I was like, very cool. And he's like, oh yeah, we do X number of boarding trains every year. Okay. Because you make a lot of money with your dog training business does not mean that you're good at training dogs. It does not mean you have a good business. It doesn't. It doesn't mean you're successful as a dog trainer. It's not. If you define things financially like that, no. So my advice, when I started dog training, I couldn't have told you how much dog training costs. I didn't have the foggiest idea. None. When I started dog training, I trained dogs for years before I saw a cent. The only thing I cared about is getting good at training dogs and getting good at decoying. That's the only thing I cared about. I had other ways, other jobs, other things that I could pay my bills with, but I was obsessed with becoming a dog trainer and the best dog trainer. So when you get good at what you do, people will notice, people will tell their friends. Everyone has a dog. Everyone's friend has a dog. None of them are good. And the business will come to you. So you don't need to worry about any of that. My opinion. Hey, Andy, I started to train my second border collie. She's a bit older, 1 year now. She's too much food focus. When I try to teach her something with food, she completely ignores me and doesn't focus on commands. I'm not sure if there's a question there. If your dog's like way overly focused on food, don't use the food as much or at all. I mean, maybe not a great answer, but Andy, my dog has bilious vomiting syndrome, which causes her to lose appetite and vomit on an empty stomach. This has made building food drive for kibble very hard. Have you ever experienced this? Would you move to a higher value food, negative reinforcement for training? It's unfortunate. No, I've never experienced that, but I would definitely put the dog on a raw diet. Kibble, probably never be good. That's just me. I would move the dog to raw. I wouldn't even really focus a whole lot on training until I got that stomach issue figured out. The stomach can affect everything. I mean, if say that you're sitting at home one day, your stomach's all jacked up, and maybe even you're puking. You ain't going to be any good that day. You're not going to be feeling good. You're not at your best. You're not going to want to go train. You're not going to want, so you need to get that physical issue fixed first, maybe with the raw. Change my dog's lifestyle by crating him at regular times. Barking is still an issue, and I want to address it since we live in an apartment. Opinion on citrus spray? Anti-bark collars? His reasons for barking are attention and sometimes a bit of separation anxiety too, I believe. There's a lot of ways to punish a dog. I mean, I don't spray him in the face with stuff. I think that's a little, look, there's a lot of ways you can punish a dog. I can't advocate for any of them here with you. I hope you can understand that. I have no idea. I don't know your dog at all. I don't know you at all. I have no clue what's been done with your dog, in my opinion. I don't know any of that. So I can't tell you, do this, do that. Now, I swear I'm not just trying to promote my Patreon. But one of the reasons that I started Patreon is I can give more detailed information. Let me give you an example. I got on tier 3 of my Patreon, you get a monthly call with me. I say a half hour, but they're usually like an hour, which I'm happy to do. But I talked to a patron yesterday who's watched almost all of my videos, been subscribed, been following all my stuff. We talked for over an hour on the phone about his dog, down from where he got the dog, what age he got the dog, what the first 6 months at home looked like. He told me about his family history. He told me about what he does for a living. Tough job. He told me very specific details of a few biting incidents he had. Great detail surrounding all of these things with the dog. I mean, we had a very in-depth conversation. And because of that, I was able to tell him, look, the dog needs an e-collar for X, Y, and Z. You need to start the e-collar on this level. You can progress to this level. Your dog, when you put the leash and collar on, this is exactly what you need to do to the dog when he becomes vocal, when he reacts. And I was able to go into detail telling him exactly what he needed to do to punish his dog. After hearing the whole background and after knowing everything he's done with the dog, following my strategies, I came to the conclusion that over the last few years with the dog, positive punishment, one of the 4 quadrants of operant conditioning, was very much lacking, and this is what was leading to a lot of his behaviors. We need to implement positive punishment, and a million ways to do it, but for your specific dog, this is exactly how it needs to be done. So that I can do, but I don't feel comfortable telling you exactly how to punish your dog. Because first, I'm not even convinced that punishment's the answer. Second, what if I told you, oh yeah, e-collar, fry him. And then you do that and it completely screws your dog up. What the hell, Andy? You screwed my dog up with your advice. And I'm going to be like, well, I didn't know. Well, if you didn't know, why'd you give the advice, Andy? So, I try to give the best information possible. I try to generalize, but until I know the intimate details of the dog's life, I can't really venture out and say this is exactly how you punish. Hey Andy, should I use a choke chain or flat leather collar? I never use choke chains, it's just me. I'd go leather. We live in a house in a rural area. Our GSD is indoors with us. Should I let him out of the crate overnight or put him in the crate until the AM? I'd crate him. You're welcome. Andy, is it hard to be a dog trainer? Nightmare. The hardest. Look, there's context to everything, right? It's hard being a brain surgeon. Okay? It's hard working in a coal mine. Okay? There's context to what's hard. Andy, is it hard to put out a YouTube video every week? Yeah, but I'm not a brain surgeon. You know what I mean? So is being a dog trainer hard? Being a dog trainer is unbelievably hard. It disgusts me when people out there, oh, you get to play with puppies all day. I wish I had your job. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Just playing with puppies. No, being a dog trainer is incredibly difficult. And remember this, folks, when you're a dog trainer, you're a people trainer. You're not a dog trainer, you're a people trainer. You are a psychologist for people. You provide family therapy for people. You take on the task of training a dog that is a crazy uphill battle every time almost. It is an you're a full-time cleaner. You're basically taking on a 24/7 cleaning job, which involves feces, vomit, urine, anal glands. You're a full-time cleaner, you're a full-time psychologist who's on call pretty much 24/7, and you have dogs that have had a tremendous amount of problems built in that you have to attempt to unravel in a couple weeks while still the dog looks peppy and awesome. So it's an incredibly hard job. One time I had someone tell me, man, I'm a personal trainer. Man, I'm so tired of training people. I want to be a dog trainer. Whoa, Jack, hey. That's more of a people trainer than being a personal trainer. Guaranteed. Very difficult. Someone said, well, I won't say the name. You can read it in the comments. Someone wrote the name of a dog training business with a throw up emoji. So I think we know how Cynthia feels about them. Look, guys, there's a lot of great dog trainers out there, but there's a majority of them that wouldn't pass my standards. You guys ever seen that Gordon Ramsay show from back in the day? What's it called? Like Restaurant Nightmare? What's it? God. Kitchen Nightmares? I'm getting it confused with Hell's Kitchen. But Gordon Ramsay goes around to different establishments, restaurants that are failing, and he reams them. He tears into them so hardcore, it's gold. It's the funniest thing ever. But he goes through their kitchen and just exposes all the filth and shoves it in their face and screams at them. It's amazing. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen that. If I had a show going around to different dog facilities, it would be very similar to that. So there's some good ones out there, but a majority of them aren't good. The dog trainers that have a bunch of trainers working for them and they turn and burn 20 board and trains at a time. They have a list booked out. Hey, we're booked out all through the year. Wow, they must be good. Nope. Nope. It's tough, guys. It's tough. What can I say? Andy, 10-month-old Malinois, as far as mental development, should I be doing anything specific? He's not very trained, but he's a great dog with an amazing temperament. Well, you should be having a ton of fun with the dog. You should be working with the dog's food, working with the dog's toy, have a great game plan, train with purpose. Countless training sessions on there, and see if you can't imitate some of those. Hey, Andy, 10-month-old German Shepherd who goes to the bathroom in his cage. 10 months. Dang. Yeah, it might mean his cage is too big. It could mean he gets too much water. It could mean he doesn't go out enough. It could mean he has a UTI. I'd get the UTI thing checked out for sure. Thanks, man. I'm going to get out there to you soon if I can. Do it, Jordan. Totally makes sense. Thanks. I'll have a look at the Patreon. Is it possible to get personalized in the lower tiers as well, or only level 3? Well, the thing about being a level 3 is you get that personalized advice at a greatly discounted cost because you're part of the Patreon. But if you wanted to just set up a phone call with me and chat for an hour, I could definitely do that, but it would cost more than it would on the Patreon. So it's up to you, but either way, we can get it done. It's all right, Cynthia. I like it. As long as I don't say it, we're good. I can't say I disagree, unfortunately. Trust me, guy. I'm a guy, I love competition. I thrive off competition. I hate being the best. The big fish in the little pond. No, I wish that there was 50 dog trainers in town, in my immediate area, that were all killing it, that were all way better than me. Because I'd be like, damn, I got stuff they're doing. And I'd get way better. So I don't like being a hater. I wish everyone was awesome. That would actually be better for me. That's how I think about it. But I don't think any trainers in town. If you're like, Andy, refer me to a trainer close to you, I can't do it. Can't do it. Chris goes, yikes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Prevent chasing animals. My Dobie won't while leashed or long line, so I'm finding it hard to correct or teach. I want to be able to recall him off a skunk. He stays with me 97%. How do I progress? I don't get the question. Sorry, Carrie, I really don't get that question. A few times I try to teach my Rottweiler watch at alert command because he already knows bark command, but he barks on me and not the threat. Does that mean he's a bad dog? Look, here's what you need to do. You need to watch a video I posted 3 weeks ago called Bark and Hold Training Without a Helper. This is going to teach you how to teach your dog to bark at something that's away from you instead of turning and barking at you. It's also why I never teach my dog to bark at me. It's always bark at something else. I never want my dog to bark at me. I never do. I never want that. I want him barking at something that is not me. But watch that video. It'll help you. I'm out. Thanks, y'all. Patreon.com/Andy Kruger. New videos on here every Monday. Very much appreciate you sticking around, listening, subscribing, liking, commenting. We're just getting started. Get you a shirt. Peace out.